important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift Products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.
The best part is that once you find out that anybody can transform massively in 6 months, and what do I have to do? How about what don't you have to do? What don't you have to do is do what you were doing previously, which is a lot of work. What you'll most likely start to do is over the first 2 months is you'll start exchanging as many things as you feel that you can exchange, that you can afford, and of course that makes sense to you at this time, because some of the things that other people have exchanged in their lives may not be the right time for you. But there may be many things, as we all do. We all start out at one level. We start out and we can see, I can change my shower and get a shower chlorinator. I can change my oils that I know aren't good for me to wholesome, full nutrition, essential oils that are necessary for my body to have regeneration. Without 10 pounds, remember, getting back to regeneration, it takes 10 pounds of pure fat just to regenerate your liver. So that's only in 2 months. You need 10 pounds of pure fat to regenerate your liver. That's not counting the rest of your organs. So what kind of fat are you going to eat to aid in 2 months the 10 pounds of fat necessary for your regeneration of the liver to take place? Now, we all have heard that fats are bad for you. That's why this is a lifestyle transition, and it is true. Certain fats are not bad for you. They're terrible for you. A lot of the fats that they talk about, trans fatty acid fats, we don't carry any of that. Well, you'd say, what's trans fatty acid? It's like plastic. And so when you eat these oils, especially when you heat them up, they clog you up. And you can see one of the reasons being why we talk about the doctor, how much do you know? Show me your pedigree. It's just for you to be able to see that the world, even the ones that are smart, even the ones that go to school, they don't know either. So don't feel bad when you have 50 pounds of excess body fat on you, because it's not body fat, it's actually toxicity. Don't feel bad when you have symptoms of dis-ease that you would go see a doctor to, because let me tell you, you can see the doctor's not doing well either. And when you go to the hospital, you'll see that the ones that work at the hospital, you would think that would be in better shape than the ones working at Costco. Okay? Look around at the people and look and see, this is the health field. So if this is the health field, you would think that these people in the health field would be following some form of paradigm in health. But as you can see, that side of the fence doesn't look too healthy, and they do call themselves the professionals of health. So most people at this time, they're looking for alternative ways, alternative lifestyles. Why? Because the traditional standard American diet has not come through. 80% of the United States eats this diet, the standard American diet, the SAD diet. And that, of course, is the processed foods. It's the dehydration of the body because you drink, let's say, sodas all day. You're drinking teas all day. And you have, well, things that really don't hydrate you all day. You're drinking tea, coffee, beverages that are a high-level pH, as we were talking about before. Sugars are a big problem. Most sugars that we see are a pH of 1. And that's one of the biggest problems that in the lifestyle makeover. You're going to change your acid lifestyle to an alkaline lifestyle. What's the alkaline lifestyle challenge? Well, in 6 months, if you follow it, you will have the alkaline lifestyle transformation. And alkaline, realistically, is, well, all you got to do is Google it. You'll find out if you alkalize yourself, then you energize yourself. And if you alkalize yourself, you remineralize yourself. And if you alkalize yourself, you give yourself vibrance. Okay, so if that's true, then why aren't you alkalizing yourself? Because you didn't know. I remember went to school. I didn't learn these steps. Let's talk alkalinity. Let's keep it real simple though. Let's not get too complex, because water does get complex. Food does get complex. The air does get complex. The electrical systems do get complex. And all of these things do have something to do with our vitality and health. So let's just look at acidity versus alkalinity. Once we understand that acidity gives us disease and alkalinity gives us health, then we'll want to be on this side of the fence, because sickness is not really, well, advantageous once you've lived a healthy life. See, most people don't know even what a healthy life feels like. Remember, 80% of the population is 15 pounds plus overweight. You have 75 million diabetics, 75 million people of the United States. Well, you know, they don't feel healthy. And you've got over 80 million people that are 30 pounds plus toxic, or they call them obese. Now, I was 30 pounds plus. I lost almost 40 pounds, so would you call me obese? I don't know, maybe. I had 40 pounds of baggage on me. Why? Because my body was super acid. I was eating like 1.5 pounds of meat a day. Why? Because I thought it was good for me, because I was into making muscles and exercising and athletics, and that's the generalization, really, is to eat protein, and that'll rehabilitate you or keep you strong, and or maybe increase your athletic ability. So my accumulation of acid was massive, massive. I then went ahead and actually figured out, by watching all these other statistics and all these other people, that found that going vegetarian is healthier than actually eating meat. But then I found out that a lot of the vegetarians, they're sick too, because they're not eating mineralized foods, or they're not eating foods that actually have life to them. Because just because you eat vegetables doesn't mean you're going to get healthy. So acidity versus alkalinity, once you cook something, it gets acid. Any type of flesh is highly acid. The more dense a food is, the more acid it is. So when you look and see about density of foods, if you want to become alkaline, then you want to eat foods that are less dense. And if you want to get, well, more acid, then you would eat foods that would be more dense. So this is really simple the way it works. Sickness has to do with the foods that you eat, and the foods that you eat in sickness all have to do with acidity. And then the other side of the fence is that you've got alkalinity, and we know that that side of the fence, like we said, is health.